Hey guys, I'm excited to show you guys the GeoSLAM Horizon. I want to talk a little bit about what I did with it and my thoughts on how it worked, and kind of show you how it works as well. I had three main projects that I did, and one of them was a underground mining tunnel, and the other one was a forestry application. I walked through a cut block, and the other one was a gravel pit. First one I did was the gravel pit, and I didn't try too hard, to be honest, because I just wanted to get some data to see how it worked. And I actually referenced the GCPs, the ground control points that I had already made for the UAV flight. And it was really cool to see the data lined up like flawlessly with my UAV data. Yeah, that was one of the things I was surprised, because to be honest, when I first got it, I thought I actually had a GPS in it, and it was just going to geo-reference everything as it went, but it's actually a full SLAM-based system. But they did have the ability to reference ground control points. So, with that being said, then I tried to do the forestry, but the block that I was supposed to get in didn't work. So then I went and I flew out to a mine site and I did an underground tunnel. And that is where you can just tell this thing was designed for, was mining applications. It was so detailed. It worked so well. There was 1/4-inch mesh steel on the walls of the cave that were holding the rocks in place, and a section had actually bent down. And in the point cloud, you could just easily identify each individual strand. Another thing, in the underground mine, there was a big man shaft that went straight up with a bunch of ladders and stuff, but it was too dangerous to climb, so we stuck the scanner under there, and we were able to see how far up it went. And yeah, you know, there's definitely a few hiccups that I had. One of them, well, yeah, I would say it kind of was a hiccup. If you know ahead of time, then it's fine. But the laptop I have has 16 gigs of RAM, and typically when I go out onto site, you know, I have to know that the product that I've made works before I leave. So like this one, I flew up in a helicopter, I was there, and I needed to know that it worked. And I went down and I scanned everything, and I went to the laptop and it was just error, error, error. And I was like, oh man, like what am I gonna do? I need to know that this is gonna work. But then I talked to Matt from GeoSLAM, and he assured me it was probably a RAM issue. And sure enough, I brought it home and I processed all the data on my computer at my office, and it went fine. So as a general rule of thumb, I'm saying if you're going to do scans longer than 7 to 9 minutes, you need 32 gigs of RAM in order to run. I did monitor the RAM, even on bigger ones like 20-minute files that I did, it never went over 28 gigs of use. So I think 32 gigs is the minimum required amount of RAM required for this. Errors, issues, or other concerns. Yeah, no, everything was pretty good. That was pretty much the only one that I had to learn how to do. So let's show you guys how this thing works. So this is the data logger and the battery. You press a button on the side, it shows you how much battery life you have left. It's actually pretty awesome. The battery life is incredible also. I remember opening it up and be like, oh shoot, there's only one battery. But from what I can tell, you probably got about 4 hours of record time on here. I did two 20-minute recordings. It was probably on for an hour total, and it had only brought it down to 79% battery. So that's definitely pretty good. So you put this thing on however you want to put it on. But I put it on like this, and then I put a jacket on over top, and it kind of held it in place. It worked really well. Then you take your cable, you find the red dot, and you line it up with this red dot. And then you take the other side, and you guessed it, you find the red dot, and you line it up with the other red dot. And then you're going to press and hold the power button here until it beeps. Now it's on, and it's going to do a bunch of calibrations. Once I went out in typical me fashion and was like, I know what I'm doing. I got this figured out. And I didn't read the instructions at all. And I started pressing a whole bunch of buttons, and I didn't get it work. So I had to actually go and read the instructions and figure it all out. But just so you know, if you read the instructions, it's really quite simple. there's going to be a series of lights that come on, these blue lights here. When they're done, it's going to give you a series of like 1, 2, 3 quick ones. And yeah, just like that right there. And so it's going back and forth. And then it gives you these lights right here, which is just a slow 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's ready to record. So you press and hold the function button. Wait for the beep. And now it takes about 15 seconds, if I remember correctly. I need to note at this time, I did a couple times, and the problem was I moved it. I'm fairly confident. So you cannot move this thing while it's initializing or doing all of its thing. And now it's ready to go. So now you take this thing and you would walk around, and as you're walking around, this is where the crosshair comes in, if you guys can see the crosshair on the bottom. The crosshair is for making your ground control points, identifying them, pardon me. So we're going to go like this, and you put it down right on top of your pin, or your mark, whatever you have, and you got to hold it there, not move it. Hold it there for 6 to 10 seconds. 6 is minimum, but I think safely 10 seconds is good. And then you're going to keep doing your scan, you're going to walk around, and then you're going to do your next pin. Do the same thing, hold it there, and I think you need a minimum of 3 of them. And then when you're done, you come back, put it down, you're going to press and hold the function button again, and then you're going to have a data light. And you got to wait for that data light to finish. That was a short scan, so it didn't take very long. But on the longer scan, it does take maybe, I think, maximum a minute. Then you're going to take your USB stick, you're going to copy it in here, and the data light's going to come on again. And it's going to copy the data onto your USB stick. And from there, you're going to take this guy out, copy it on your computer, and drag it into the GeoSLAM Hub software, and it will just automatically start processing right from there. All in all, I have to say this thing was very simple, designed to get work done. Press, 3 buttons, record, drop it in your computer, produce a point cloud. And yeah, very good. I want to say thanks for watching, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to send them away, and if you have any suggestions or any other comments too, I'd love to hear them. Thanks.